Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale. Before we get to the main video, which ought to be a really good one with the #1 player from last season, Clash Bash, sharing his favorite bait deck that got him to #1 in the world. Can't wait to share that with you guys. But I came back to the office today and I was catching up on some packages that I missed that came in the mail, and wouldn't you know, got really surprised by King's Cup 2, baby. Look at this crown chest that they gave me. A big step up from last year's little wooden giant chest just chilling in the corner there. So we're gonna open up this bad boy. You may have probably already seen it on other YouTube channels, such as Chief Pat, Nick at Night, Molt, Clash with Cam. A bunch of great YouTube content creators are going to be heading up or being team captains along with a pro player and along with one of you guys. Stay tuned to the end of this video where I'll go more in depth about how to sign up for this event, hopefully play on my squad. I can't announce the official team name yet, but I think you guys are probably going to like it. But let's go ahead and see what's in this chest real quickly. Again, at the end of the video, I'll announce all the YouTubers involved as well as the pro players and talk about the format and why it's so interesting. Check this out, guys. It's like my own little, I don't know, cartoon character at Clash with Ash. Pretty cool stuff. I think we'll put this in the back here next to the deck. Shout out to Night Owl. There we go. He looks like he's has a happy home back there. So let's quickly read this royal decree, guys. I'm going to have to find a happy home for this massive crown chest as well. Good God, it's huge. That's what she said. All right, so let's go. Here we go. By royal decree, Clash with Ash, YouTuber King is hereby summoned to fearlessly lead their squad into battle at the 2nd Annual King's Cup, a Clash Royale tournament. King's Cup 2 will be the 2nd Annual Clash Royale tournament, will be taking place in Atlanta, Georgia. 8 teams of 3, the Creator, King, the Knight, and the Squire, will enter the arena and duel over $200,000 cash prize. Oh my God, that's incredible. I could pay off my house. Only one team will emerge victorious from the battlefield. It will take place October 28th. Wow, in Atlanta, Georgia, by the way, guys. You have to be there live to compete. So I hope to see some of you guys. Again, more information on that at the end of today's video. In the meantime, enjoy Clash Bash for the main vid. See you guys in a second. Hey guys, welcome to the main video. Today we are here with Clash Bash, as you can see on the screen, at 77 trophies last season, was the #1 player last month in the entire world. You can see the rundown right here. So of course he is in the clan with me today. This account, I've had Clash Bash, the player, some of his replays on the channel previously. I think he's from the United Arab Emirates, but I'm not 100% sure. Somewhere in the Middle East, I forgot. Either way, the pusher on his account last season was Wen. And Wen is an interesting character. He's been recommended quite a few times by other pros to bring on the channel as one of the most underrated players in the entire game. So Wendell is his real name. Wen, he is from Sao Paulo, Brazil, and he's just an incredibly good player with 2 decks, with Expo and with Bait. Today I wanted to cover his Bait decks. So we're going to be focusing primarily on the play-by-play because he plays really good players, he plays some difficult matchups, and he's really textbook in his precision, and just the general the way he plays this deck is just so beneficial just to watch the replays and really focus heavily on them. I've done so many videos on pro tips with this deck, really giving a deck overall strategy and outline, that today I just want to let the gameplay speak for itself. So with that said, I'm going to go mute and I'll see you guys. No, I'm just joking. So with that said, we're going to do play-by-play instead of doing a general deck review. However, we will be incorporating incorporating the tips that Wen gave me to share with you guys throughout the episode. So here we go, this first replay against Valar from Crucible Wrath. He is using the Golem Lumberjack Lightning deck, and man, this is a lethal deck. I'm really a big fan of it. I forgot who used this deck first. You guys know that I don't play the deck creation game, but I did see Pong using this deck for quite a while. He just loves the Lumberjack, and I do too. I use this deck as well, but I actually used it with Rocket instead of Lightning, and I used it with Zap instead of Log. I just like having Zap to reset Inferno Towers with the absence of the Lightning, and I like Rocket in this meta right now to do a lot of extra damage if need be, and also defensively. I feel like the Rocket is really undervalued right now. We'll talk more about that as to why I feel that way in a bit, but let's focus on this gameplay. So here comes the Golem and the Lumberjack in lane, of course, easily being shut down here by the Princess, sniping away in the back, and of course the Inferno Tower. A good protection job of the Knight on the Princess, and that's one thing that you guys are going to want to notice throughout all of these replays. Wen does a very good job using the Knight strategically as not only a tank for the Goblin Barrel, as you just saw there, but also a tank for the Princess. Keeping his Princess alive is something that Wen obviously places a very high priority on. So make sure you guys, when you use the Princess, you don't want her to die. She's only 3 elixir, but Wen isn't afraid to use 3 elixir or even 4 if he needs the Ice Spirit to help defend her. And oftentimes he will use the Princess at the bridge in this deck, which we'll see a little bit more later. So here comes the Rocket Log, and that's going to finish off that right tower. And with the Golem in the back, there's not going to be enough time here for Valar to go ahead and mount a comeback. So only 10 seconds left. At this point, just distract, put down the Inferno Tower on the enemy side of the arena, and that will finish things off here for Wen in a few seconds. So you can see how he, we didn't focus so much on the play-by-play, even though I said we were going to. I promise we'll do that in the next match, and there also is another Golem beatdown, different variation of that Golem deck that we'll share towards the end of this video. But this is going to be a real, not this one, next one, is going to be a really awesome replay to watch, this next one, guys. So check this out. We're going against a Hog Rocket deck, and check out how Clash Bash is able to recover from an early deficit to really shut down the opponent later on in the match. Now, one thing that Clash Bash, or Wen, did share with me is this deck, even though it's a super aggressive deck, he is of the old school mentality where he likes to play super defensive, not so aggressive until he figures out what cards the opponent has. Another thing that you're going to notice against Hog decks with this deck, guys, is that Wen very, very rarely uses the Inferno Tower, almost never in single elixir time, and then he'll start using it defensively against a Hog Rider when it gets into double elixir time. But he's always going to defend a Hog with either the Goblin Gang or the Ice Spirit or the Knight and Princess, basically anything he has at his disposal without using the Inferno Tower for that negative trade. So he wasn't able to protect that Princess to keep her alive. He was able to finish off his opponent's Princess. Here comes another Hog Ice Golem in the left lane. He's not going to wait for that Inferno Tower. Instead, he's going to use, again, the Knight and the Goblin Gang defensively against that Hog. A rather fast cycle against the deck that he's playing. Faster than his own, so the opponent's going to be able to get to his Hog before he's able to get to, always, his #1 counter for the Hog Rider. He's going to keep the opponent kind of honest here, using that Goblin Barrel. It also distracted the Princess momentarily to allow his Princess to destroy her. The opponent at this point says, good game. He knows he's going against an opponent with an incredibly high skill level, and we'll see how it pans out here. But obviously, still plenty of time left. It's not really GG quite yet. So now, Wen knows that he's going to be coming with a Hog Rider in the left lane. Check out this defense, guys. What great defense. Stops that Hog from getting even one hit onto the left tower. Meanwhile, he's going to keep cycling to that Goblin Barrel, knowing that his opponent has the Log out of rotation. Always a very keen awareness of where the opponent's spell, Log most importantly, is when you're playing a spell bait deck, okay? So here we go, another Princess. You'll see that he oftentimes plays that Princess with an Ice Spirit just to add extra protection with her. He'll also do another thing. Well, he'll put the Knight ahead of the Princess. He won't play Princess on the bridge. He'll play Princess a little bit back, and then he'll place the knight. Now what that's going to do is, against other princesses, it's going to allow his knight to tank again against the opposing princess, and he won't lose the one-on-one battle between those two cards. So here comes an aggressive rocket by the opponent. The opponent probably thought he had him there with that hog push, but check that out. Wen answers with the rocket of his own, and now he's able to connect on this goblin barrel a little bit late on the log from the opponent, able to finish it off with a log of his own. What a great textbook match there by Wen, defeating a faster cycle deck than his own. Let's go into the next replay. The next one I want to say is when he faces off against another bait deck. Let's see if I'm correct here. I think it might be an interesting version of Miner Bait. Never seen a deck like this, but Potent is a very good player. So you want to watch how these players kind of feel each other out early on, and then how they both kind of get into their A game as the match progresses. So here comes a princess in the back for Potent. Wen's going to go ahead and use the log to finish her off. And now look at this. The Miner coming in, anticipating the princess, a really nice anticipatory, if I can say that 3 times fast, a really nice anticipatory Miner there for Potent. However, Clash Bash was one step ahead of him in the chess match, able to use the knight to block the bats, and then able to go ahead and use his princess in the back. So again here, taking some damage on that left tower. So again, a little bit of an early deficit here for Wen, but he's not going to let that deter him. He's going to play the knight in front of the princess again, like we talked about. Luckily, the princess just narrowly matches onto that minion horde, and all of a sudden we're back to building a positive elixir advantage in this match. No other play but to play the Goblin Gang at the bridge there, knowing that the opponent didn't have log in cycle. But hey, we didn't have the Goblin Barrel in cycle either, but we did want to take every possible route to forcing a counter out of the opponent there, and he ended up using an Ice Golem pretty well to defend. So here, a good prediction knight, guys. If you delay just a second after you see that Miner, you actually have time to drop your knight when you can easily predict where the Miner is going to land on your tower. Maybe I ought to make a standalone episode all about predicting Miners and Goblin Barrels in the future, but of course Wen does a really good job of that. Again, using the Ice Spirit to buy some more time, some more hits, some more chip damage with the princess on the right. Again, no spell in rotation there for Potent, able to get more chip damage on that left tower. And check it out, guys, all of a sudden this is pretty much a tie ball game. Ball game? Okay, it's just a tie game. So this time the princess able to lock onto that minion horde using an Ice Spirit to finish off all but 2 of those other minions. And this time again, Potent really good with that Miner, using the Miner almost exclusively to take out the princess there. Getting another rocket is Clash Bash on the right tower. This time Knight going to stymie those bats coming in on the left. Miner doing more chip damage, but we're not going to over defend at this point. We still have only 10,000 HP left on the right tower. At this point in the match, it's time to focus on one of the biggest keys to this deck, according to Wen. When I asked him what he thought was the most common mistake or the most important key to this deck, he said being too aggressive or relying too heavily on the Goblin Barrel for most of your damage. He's perfectly happy with just getting the tower down to whatever you need, spell dependent, spell level dependent, of rocket damage range to finish off the match. He said this deck is incredibly good at defending until the end of the game, where you have your opponent into 1 or more range of rockets to finish off the match. So essentially, in the beginning, use your Goblin Barrel, use your Goblin Gang, use your Princess at the bridge for chip damage if necessary, and then rely more heavily on the rocket and defending well when you get to double elixir time. He is not afraid to use aggressive rockets on offense. So I promised you guys another Golem replay here, and here it is against Sean, another good Golem player. So Sean's playing the Bandit Inferno Dragon Golem deck. I personally like this one just a little bit better in the current meta. You can see he has arrows in hand. He opts to let that Goblin Barrel go on the left tower. That was a really smart decision there by Sean. Now he has arrows if he needs them to protect his Golem from, say, a minion horde, or in this case, a Goblin gang. However, he's not ready, unfortunately, for that Inferno tower. He has Zap in hand, but look at how good Clash Bash does at defending this push, even with the Zap, right? He's going to be very patient. He's going to use his Goblin gang to distract that bandit, not let her get to the tower, allow him time to cycle back to the knight and block that attack. Check it out. He took almost no damage to his right tower in that entire attack. That was really, really impressive there by Clash Bash. Remember, there was a Golem, he had Zap, he had a Mega Minion, he had Inferno Dragon, he had Bandit all coming down that right lane. Didn't get any damage on the tower. Really impressive defensive job. If you guys use a bait deck like this, that's what you're going to want to look at. Replays or sequences like that as to how to properly defend against a monster beatdown push. So here we go again. It is Goblin Gang in the back. He's going to go really hard on the right lane, applying pressure, as you should, basically no matter what deck you're using against Golem decks, to prevent them from supporting the Golem in the left lane. Now look at this, guys. Sean really has nothing to play behind that Golem to help take out that Inferno tower in time. Look at that, even using the log, again, preventing any damage on that left tower. And look at that, he got a lot of chip damage on the right tower with just the Knights and the Goblin Gang previous to that. So here it comes again. It's going to be a Goblin Barrel on that right tower. Sean again opts not to use the Zap and the Poison, instead to play the Golem at the river here. But we're able to cycle back to the Inferno tower again. Inferno tower, oh man, so difficult for the opponent to combat this deck when it has Inferno tower in it. You can see melting away through that Golem as well as the Mega Minion, again stymieing this push, and there's just nothing that Sean can do here. You're seeing right now firsthand exactly how powerful this deck is against any beatdown deck, even P.E.K.K.A. beatdown or Mega Knight beatdown. You're going to want to use essentially the same methods of attacking the opposite lane. You know, you're not going to unload on the opposite lane until double elixir time, but keeping the defender honest, and now with only 5 seconds left, hey, there's not even enough time for the Golem to reach the tower. That was an incredibly strong textbook defensive and offensive match there by Wen. So guys, that's going to do it for the normal portion of this pro tips video. Let's transition really quickly to the King's Cup 2 again and take a look at the players and the YouTubers who will be participating. Alright guys, we're back with a quick rundown of King's Cup 2. So here's the website, kingscuptournament.com. You guys can pre-register right now. It costs $10 to do so, but you do get reimbursed in the form of a gift card once you arrive at the tournament in Atlanta on October 28th and 29th of 2017. If we go back here, let's take a quick look at the teams. So each team will consist of 3 players. The people who make it to day 2 from day 1, the play-in phase, the public, you guys, and the YouTuber and the pro player. Don't get those two confused. So here's the YouTubers. We have yours truly, Chief Pat, Nick at Night. We have Ted, the Alvaro, Molt, Orange Juice, and Clash with Cam. Those are the team captains. We have the pro players. We have Surgical Goblin, Nem Sensei, TMD Aaron, TMD Yao Yao. We have Adrian Piedra, Oxalate, C McHugh, and Atchin. Which one of those pros, if you were me, would you want to be teamed up with? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. They're all such good players, so you can't really go wrong no matter who you get, but I'm curious to see, if you had to choose one, who you guys would choose. So let's go quickly over the format here as well, guys. So you can see the heats take place in the open tournament day 1. That's to decide who the final 8 will be, who will then be joining one of our teams of the pros and the YouTubers. Now, this is the format. Basically, it's a bracket format where each of the teams go head-to-head in an elimination style bracket. So basically what we're going to do is
the captain of the team, the king, the YouTuber, will decide who they want to put up first in the first match. It can be the pro, the YouTuber, or the challenger, one of you guys. And then the loser is eliminated. So after the first match, there's only 5 players left, not 6. After the second match, there's only 4 left, and so on. Now, if one pro just keeps winning and runs the table, well, they're going to be the winner team. So the best player on the team really matters a lot. The worst player on the team, like the YouTuber probably, luckily isn't going to be able to absolutely destroy the team. It's really a group effort here. So if you win, if you do well, your team can ride your momentum, hopefully to the tune of $60,000. So you guys can see here, match 2, match 3, match 4, you can see the gist of things, right? You can see players are being eliminated until only the YouTuber stands in this scenario, in which case if the YouTuber lost, that team would lose and go to the losers bracket, and the winning team would move on to repeat. Of course, there are 2 deck conquest rules. The final round is best of 5, so it's 3 decks. Essentially, if you win and you move on, or you stay alive in your bracket, you have to change at least 3 cards in your deck. So you have to be proficient in at least 2, probably, hopefully 3 decks if you make the finals. So that's the format, guys. If you have any questions in the first hour, drop me a comment and I'll help clarify things. I know it can be a little bit confusing, but once you grasp it, it is certainly the most awesome format I've ever seen in a Clash Royale tournament. It should be a lot of fun. So guys, that is going to do it for today's video. Can't wait till King's Cup 2. It's going to be so much fun, guys. It's going to be great. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to my YouTube partner, Bren Chong. Check out his information in the description below. And guys, as always, take care, guys.